Welcome, dear sadhakas, students of Vedic mathematics. We are glimpsing organization features of the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. The way to glimpse, imbibe these values, we have to follow the Vedic way. The Vedic way, as has been practiced by Bharti Krishna Tirtha Ji Maharaj, Shri Shripad Baba Ji Maharaj, and Maharishi Mesh Yogi Ji Maharaj, is of transcendental meditation. We, when we'll be approaching the Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, the Vedic mathematics way, and when we will be permitting our mind to transcend, dive deep, to be parallel with the flow of these values from the foundation of the Ganita Sutras themselves, then we will be blissfully parallel with this flow. Today, in continuity of the glimpsing and chase of the organization features of the text of Ganita Sutras, we are aiming to continue this chase of settlement of number of letters of individual Ganita Upsutras in the sequential order of the text of Ganita Upsutras. Sorry. With this chase and imbibing of the organization features of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, we can comprehend, glimpse, and imbibe further the integrated format of text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, with Ganita Upsutras bridging the gaps between the consecutive Ganita Sutras. To this, we will be coming only after this session, as with this session, we will be having face-to-face interaction with the Ganita Upsutras text. There are 13 Upsutras. The first is Anurupen. It is a scripture of 10 letters. The creative boundary of 5 space is of 10 components. This becomes the organization format for the text of Ganita Upsutra 1, Anurupen. The number of letters of the text of Ganita Upsutra 1 as 10 letters text is settled as the mathematical domain is the creative boundary of 10 components of 5 space. When we will be parallel with this system, then we will be having desired transition from the role of 4 space as a domain to 4 spaces boundary of the transcendental space. Within creator's space, within 4 space, 5 space plays the role of origin of 4 space. 5 space within 4 space as such manifests its creative boundary of 10 components. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with this settlement shall sit comfortably and to permit the mind to be parallel with the way transcendental origin manifests creative boundary of 10 components within creator's space. With this, we can proceed ahead for the settlement of the letters of the text of Upsutra to Shishyate Shesha Sangha. The scriptural text Shishyate Shesha Sangha is a text of 18 letters. Hypercube of 5, the representative regular body of 5 space in 4 space, is manifested format of 4 folds, 3, 4, 5, 6 of summation value 18. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with this sequential progression from the creative boundary of 10 components to the transcendental domain as a manifested hypercube 5 format. So this is the sequential step. It is a sequential progression when we are progressing from creative boundary of 10 components to the 5 space domain, 5 space content, which manifests within 4 space as hypercube of 5 of 4 folds of value 18. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with this sequential progression processing technique inherent in the text of the Upsutras themselves. Once we will be parallel with it, then sequentially at the next step, we shall be reaching at the text of Ganita Sutra 3, Adi Aden Antyam Anten, a scripture of 23 letters. See, we are within creator's space. Creator's space, 4 space, is of a spatial order. The value 4 accepts organization as 2 plus 2 is equal to 2 cross 2. The manifestation of solid order, 5 space, within creator's space leads to 3 plus 5 plus 3 multiplied 5, 8 equal to 23, the format of settlement of 23 letters of the text of Upsutra 3, Adi Aden Antyam Anten. Let us have a pause. Let us firstly be parallel with the feature of the spatial order, which makes 2 plus 2 equal to 2 cross 2, which impliedly, inherently, specifically, characteristically means that addition and multiplication operations get superimposed indistinguishably after the operation takes place for the 2 elements. In this way, when we will be approaching the solid order of transcendental domain, then the addition operation will lead us to 3 plus 5, 8, and 3 multiplied by 5 is equal to 15, together 23. So it is this feature which is inherently having a transition and progression step ahead from the spatial order to the solid order, though remaining within creator's space. This brings us face to face with as that the 4 space is a setup of 9 geometries range. Further, the solid order setup of transcendental domain is sequentially takes from linear order to solid order to the transcendental order. 1 plus 3 plus 5 is equal to 9. Now, 9 space content splits as a pair of unity state streams, 7 space folds, and 9 plus 7 is 23. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with this progression step shall sit comfortably and to permit the mind to be parallel with these characteristic features of this phase and stage of transition. Once we will be with this fulfillment, then a step ahead, we will be at 6 space in the role of origin of 5 space, though remaining within creator's space itself. Now, 6 space domain accepts Sthapatya, miring rod, a synthetic setup of hypercubes 1 to 6 of values format 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. The values pair 23 and 21 is of domain dimension format. One shall sit comfortably. One shall permit the transcending mind to be parallel with this sequential organizational step of the mathematical organization of the text of Ganita Sutras, transition in continuity from Upsutra 3, Adi Aden Antemanten, to Kevale Saptakam Gunayat. This is that at the origin seat, that means the 6 space with 7 space in the role of the origin will lead to a transcendental flow of 7 streams, which will manifest 3 steps ahead. Mix value 21. However, it will be a very, very blissful comprehension if we firstly remain in continuity of the organization of 23 as a domain and 21 as its dimension. This will take us firmly along the Sthapatya miring rod, which is a synthetic setup of representative regular bodies of 1 to 6 space. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with this sequential organization stitching thread of the text of the Ganita Sutras. With this comprehension, we will reach a phase and stage of Ganita Upsutra 5, Veshtanam. Veshtanam literally means osculation. Now, the scriptural text of Ganita Upsutra 5, Veshtanam is 8. We know that 8 is the transcendental code value of Akash. It is also the transcendental code value of Ras. It is also the transcendental code value of Ek. And simultaneously, we know that the domain boundary ratio for the creators of space hypercube 4 is a raised to power 4 is to 8 b raised to power 3. Still further, we know that 8 with its organization 3 plus 5 goes parallel with 3 spaces dimension superimposed upon 5 spaces domain. Still further, 6 space as dimension manifests 8 spaces domain. And the numbers 1 to 23 lead to factors 41 parallel with the TCV of Wisdom 41. Sit comfortably. Be parallel with this flow from the Bindu Sarovar, the first component, for its reach up till the fourth component, Swastik Pada. And it is here where we will be parallel with this flow. In the computer screen, the depiction when points is 1 to 4 it should be 41, though by typographical mistake, the print here is 47. Take it, correct it, it is 41. Let me state it again. Simple rendering of Western is osculation. Here 4, 5, 6 spaces manifestation within creator's space osculates along the same creation format of flow range from Bindu Sarovar to Swastik Pada, and same remains of value 41. It is really very, very blissful reach of organization of the text of Ganita Sutras. It is the state which will further bring us face to face with as to how the individual, a thinking individual, is acquiring different mental states which remain superimposed upon each other, and to decipher them out, to dissolve them out, and to have a transition from a given mental state to the next mental state, one is to follow the transcendental path of Vedic mathematics itself. As such, the pure values and applied values of Vedic mathematics are having their simultaneous play. It is this feature which makes Vedic mathematics a transcendental mathematics. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic mathematics shall acquire this attainment. One shall be face to face with these sequential organization. Ganita Upsutra 6, Yavdunam Tavdunam of 18 letters text will firstly brings us face to face with the difference value 41 minus 23 is 18, which is parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still further, 6 space is origin of 5 space. And this way, 6 space organizes 5 space domain as a pair of 5 space domains. This format leads to flow from origin into both parts of the domain of value 18. We had seen that the Ganita Upsutra to Shishyate Shesha Sangya is a scripture of 18 letters. And now here, as the text of Upsutra 6, Yavdunam Tavdunam, as well is of the format of 18 letters text, one shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to have proper comprehension of this feature. For it, we have to concentrate upon 6 space in the role of an origin of a 5 space. 6 space as an origin of 5 space organizes 5 space domain as of northern and southern hemispheres. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. It is with this comprehension that we will be parallel with the organization features of the text of Ganita Upsutras and the 7th Upsutra, Yavdunam Tavduni Kritye Vargam Cha Yojet, a scripture of 37 letters, brings us face to face with the origin seat of 5 space occupied by 6 space, as such becomes a seat of value 37 parallel with value 18 for hypercube 5 of full unit and value 19 of hypercube 5 of half unit. Let us sit comfortably. The creator's space is a spatial order space. Within creator's space, there are a pair of units. These pair of units, 2 as 1 and 1 as 2, are accepting half as the working unit. It is this half as the working unit which brings us face to face with the way the transcendental domain, the 5-space domain, splits into a northern and southern hemispheres, leading to value for its origin, its center, as 18 plus 19, parallel with the full unit hypercube 5 and half unit hypercube 5. It is really a very, very blissful comprehension. When we will be taking up in the next session onwards the integrated format of the texts of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, we will see that Sutras 1 to 7 together with Upsutras 1 to 7 take us to a phase and stage as ahead. Ganita Sutra 8 and Ganita Sutra 9 both are of 16 letters each. And it is this which will help us appreciate the organization for the text of Ganita Sutras as of the first fold up till Sutra 8 and the second fold beginning from Sutra 9 taking back to Sutra 16. However, this is the feature to which we will be attending with most attention while we'll be taking up the chase of the integrated format of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the mind to be sequentially parallel with these organization features of the text of Ganita Sutras upon which we are focusing at present. Upsutra 8 is a scripture of 16 letters. Now, 6-space content spectra, the split of a 6-space content domain within creator's space is of 4-fold 6, 4, 4, 2, summation value 16. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with this feature of the space content. The 6-space content means the content of Surya, sun. The sun is a 6-space content setup. 6-space content spectra is of value 6442 of summation value 16. It is parallel with the dimensional frame of quadruple spatial dimensions of 4-space. Further, it is parallel with the transcendence of 6-space origin out of 5-space domain, which as a result of this transcendence splits the transcendental domain into a pair of formats which lead to 565 as the organization at the origin seat of the transcendental domain of value 16. One shall sit comfortably. One shall permit the transcending mind to be parallel with this feature. While we will be attending the organization of Ganita Sutras along with the text of Ganita Sutras, with the Ganita Sutras bridging the gaps between the consecutive sutras, we shall be of real appreciation of the settlement of the text of Ganita Sutra as well being of the text of 16 letters. And now the placement of Ganita Upsutra 8 will be subsequent to Sutra 9, while Sutras 1 to 7 are having their bridging in terms of Ganita Upsutras in the sequential order. However, the Upsutra 8 will bridge the gap between Sutra 9 and 10. It is this shift which is to be absorbed, pointedly, glimpsed seriously. This characteristic is which requires very, very deep visit. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to continuously remain in prolonged sittings of trance to be parallel with this organization feature of the text of Ganita Sutras. Step ahead, we will be reaching Upsutra 9, which takes us to the text of 11 letters parallel with 11 versions of hypercube 5 as a representative regular bodies of 11 geometries of 5 space. On the computer screen is the depiction of 11 versions of hypercube 5. One shall be through it. Once one will be through it, then one will be really parallel with the Vedic approach to the existence phenomenon of our solar universe within Akash Tattva. The potentialities of Akash as the fifth element being of 11 geometries format will also bring us face to face with the transcendental code value for formulation Asht as 11. There are 11 versions of hypercube 5. There are 11 geometries of 5 space. The formulation Asht 8 of value 8 is of transcendental code value 11. All these features are the real characteristic attainment which deserve to be absorbed fully. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with these. And in continuity, one shall proceed ahead as to how the Upsutra 10 as well, a text of 16 letters, brings us face to face with as to how the split of 5 space domain because of 6 space origin leads us to value 16 for its both parts. And it is this split which will bring us face to face with the split of transcendental domain itself as of southern and northern hemispheres, with the northern hemisphere being of a transcendental code value 17. It is this placement which will further bring us face to face with as to how 9 discrete points with 8 gaps brings to focus the value of the discretes and how the continuity is to be attained for discretes with discretes. Discretes are not of potentialities to make continuous domain, but 2 distinct sets of discretes will make a continuous domain is the attainment of Vedic mathematics, and the same is because of the unique organization in terms of which there is a settlement of the letters of the subsequent texts of the Ganita Sutras as well as Upsutras. And the final phase and stage is the text of Ganita Upsutra 13 of value 32. 2 raised to power 4 plus 2 raised to power 4 is 2 raised to power 5. And this brings us as to how the transcendental origin of the creator space makes transcendental setup of 5 spatial dimensions available 2 raised to power 5. And this split brings us face to face with the text organization for Upsutra 13 as 16 plus 16. One shall sit comfortably. One shall be parallel with these sequential organization steps. It will be a very, very blissful exercise that one shall firstly be through the sequential organization of settlement of the letters of the text of Ganita Sutras 1 to 16, and then one shall be through the settlement of the letters of the text of Ganita Sutras 1 to 13. Ganita Sutras make a complete domain. Ganita Sutras as well make a complete domain. However, the blissful aspect is that Ganita Sutras and Sutras together as well make a blissful organization. The integrated format of Ganita Sutras and Sutras will be taken up by us from next session onwards. Thank you very much.